The success of an idea, it really has as much to do with how you execute it as the idea itself. But, and this is the whole point, you can dramatically stack the deck in your favor if you start with a promising idea. So to get there, we're going to follow what's basically a founder's funnel. It's a 5-step journey that's designed to take you from this huge world of possibilities all the way down to a single, powerful starting point. We'll cover the common traps, how to test your idea, why bad ideas are sometimes the absolute best, how to generate great ones, and then the final, most critical test. First up, we're at the widest part of our funnel. And here, we really need to clear away the most common mistakes that trap even the smartest founders, starting with the biggest one of all. A solution in search of a problem. It's so common. So many founders think, AI is cool. What can I build with it? And that's completely backwards. It just leads you to a made-up problem that nobody actually cares about. Instead, you have to start with a real problem and then fall in love with solving that. Start there. Okay, so now that we've sidestepped the obvious traps, let's move to our first filter. It's time to put your idea to the test. Core set of questions to basically pressure test any new idea. Now, we're going to focus on just some of the most critical ones on this list, the ones that can really make or break a startup, right? Most important, founder market fit. This concept, it shifts the focus entirely. The question isn't, is this a good idea in some abstract way? The real question is this a good idea for you? Does your team have a unique expertise or insight that makes you the absolute perfect people to solve this specific problem? Okay. Now we enter a more counterintuitive part of the funnel. Think of it like a secret passage. We're looking for good, bad ideas. Those opportunities that seem really unappealing on the surface. And most founders, they're too afraid to touch them, which is exactly why they can be gold mines. These 3 categories, they look completely unappealing at first glance. They seem hard or boring or way too crowded. But that perception is really just a smokescreen. It scares other people away, which means these categories often hide these massive overlooked opportunities. Stripe is the classic example of an idea that's just hard to start, or what Paul Graham calls a schlepp. I mean, thousands of developers knew online payments were awful, but getting the bank deals and learning the whole infrastructure, it just seemed impossible. That difficulty scared everyone else off, leaving a $100 billion opportunity wide open for them. And what about boring ideas? Well, Gusto makes payroll software. It is not sexy. But because it's boring, thousands of people who knew the existing software was terrible just never tried to fix it. The lesson here? Boring ideas often have a much higher hit rate than fun ideas like social media or restaurant apps. And finally, competition. Most founders run from it, but it's often a signal that a real market actually exists. Get this, Dropbox was like the 20th file-sharing app to launch, but that proved people wanted a solution. They won because their founder, Drew Houston, had a single technical insight about syncing that the other 19 companies had completely missed. Okay, so you now know how to vet ideas and how to spot those hidden gems. Let's get to the engine room. The systematic recipe about where great ideas come from. About 70% are discovered organically, like founders just notice them over time by becoming experts in a field. But this is so key. That means 30% come from a deliberate search. You absolutely can go hunting for a world-changing idea, but these 3 are by far the most powerful. You can start with your expertise, which, boom, automatically gives you founder market fit. You can solve a personal problem you have, or you can do what the founders of A2B did, which is just an amazing story. This is just incredible. The founders of A2B had zero, and I mean zero expertise in trucking. So you know what they did? They decided to manufacture it. They picked a fertile space, trucking, and then they physically drove to truck stops and just started talking to drivers. They talked to anyone and everyone until they built this mental map of the industry and triangulated the real massive problem, fuel cards. And that brings us to the end of the funnel. You've avoided the traps, you've filtered your idea, you've learned how to generate new ones. Now comes the final and really the most crucial step of all. At the end of the day, after all this analysis, here's the ultimate truth. No framework, no matter how good it is a substitute for reality. You can analyze an idea to death,
but you can never be 100% sure if it's good until you launch it and just see what happens.